Nice. Good morning, afternoon, evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Sandbox game live stream for Saturday, April 24th, 2021. My name is Joseph, the Vision X Matting, and alongside me, through the magic of the internet, the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be, Alex Camisase Flores. How are you?
I'm a little too flattered, I gotta say.
Listen,
So,
if you're watching live, each and every Saturday, right here on youtube.com, Twitch TV, Theta, D Live, Twitter, Facebook. We teach you the skills that you need to create a great game in the Sandbox Game Maker. If you're watching live with us today, you also have a special opportunity. During the stream, feel free to ask us anything, whether it be about the VoxEdit asset creation software, the Game Maker, the client, the website on sandbox.game, anything at all about the Sandbox. You can ask us in the chat. We will answer it live as we go. If you're watching later over on youtube.com, we can answer these questions as well through Discord, Telegram, Twitter, or any of our other great platforms. Ask us, tag us. We will get the answer out for you later, anytime that you like. Of course, you can join us each and every week at 1800 UTC live on this channel, which you are watching right now. I am doing this sloppy as heck. This is a script. Normally, I do this much better. Also, if you're watching live, you have a unique opportunity. You can win a Wizzy the Blue NFT right here on this stream. But more details on that will come later. So stick with us. For now, let's get to the start of each and every Saturday, and let's make some games.
all right. Thank you, Joseph.
Yeah. Just rumbling, stumbling, and
Hey,
fumbling my way to
it's
success. You know what I mean?
it's a learning process, you know? It's
That's
all
right.
good.
I wrote
It's all
that
good.
script, Alex. That's the problem. Is that I wrote it, and I'm like, you know. Great, great. How's everybody doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Well, it's not
Oh
really
my
morning for me
goodness,
anymore. It's 2 in
it
the
is.
afternoon.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'm the only morning left in the world at
Uh,
11. You
or
know,
like Hawaii maybe.
there's so many
So
people over on YouTube.com commenting already. I appreciate you guys.
yeah.
Of course, I
Well, we
appreciate
had
it.
a question from Periscope. Mike
Mm,
Montgomery. Wow,
Montgomery.
Montgomery. I know I can say that. It's not that difficult. My mouth is
Oh,
just not quite warmed up yet. Joseph got to do all the talking at the start, so I'm still waking up here. Can I go super basic? Login, is the software login different from the website login? I use MetaMask. So there's sort of two ways to log in, and it can be a little confusing. Um, you can create an account before attaching a wallet to it. Well, it's kind of all in the same process. You like attach a wallet and you set up your login at the same time.
mhm.
So we can actually go to the website real quick before we jump into the game maker. And so you can see it automatically logged me in. Well, you can't see because the logo's in the way right now. But when the logo goes away, you'll be able to see, there it is. I'm already logged in. It shows my sand. And if I go to the Me tab, I'm logged in here. So when you set up your account, you connect a wallet to it, but then you can also set up a password by going to your Me tab, the three-dot menu, and you click this edit button, and there will be a little spot where you can set a username and password. That username and password can be used to log into the Sandbox if your wallet is not connected at the moment. It can also be used to log into the Game Maker. So that's what the purpose of that login is. There have been times where people have needed to switch their wallet, either because their wallet was compromised from some other site, or some people had been using a certain wallet service besides MetaMask and they didn't really like that one and they wanted to switch over to a MetaMask wallet. And we were able, this is not something that we try to do very often because we need like our top level coders to do this, so it's kind of inconvenient. But in bad cases, we've been able to disconnect the wallet from the account. You can still log in with your username and password, and you can reconnect a new wallet. So try not to need to do that. But
Yeah, it's important that, as a rule of thumb, the wallet is the actual account, and you can always
yeah,
change the email and you can change the password whenever you want. But your wallet is your login. So it's ultra secure in that way, in
Mm-hmm.
that it's much less likely that regardless of what you do on the internet, that somebody's going to get access to and control your wallet unless you let your seed code out there.
Never ever
So
do that. Never tell anybody
never,
your seed.
ever, never tell anyone your seed. Don't copy it locally on your computer just in case your computer gets attacked or whatever. If you're going to keep your seed somewhere, I'd recommend putting it on a thumb disk drive, and flash
Write it
drive
down
is
in
the
a
actual
notebook
term.
and put it in a safe. That's
Yeah, there you
that's the
go.
best way.
Exactly. Like take it away from your computer and put it down somewhere because you'll almost never need it. And it's the only way to be sure that you're always in control of your assets. So,
And the only way to recover your wallet if somehow your information gets lost from your computer.
sure.
Um, the the way your account is split up on the Sandbox is the items in your inventory and your sand balance, and if you have gems and catalysts, which nobody watching really will have gems and catalysts, but once we get into like the minting process, people will start having gems and catalysts. So those sand lands, estates, which are just a bundle of lands, and assets are stored on your wallet, so you can be sure that wherever that wallet goes, those things will follow. Experiences, though, if they haven't been minted the metaverse map, those are still with your username password login, because those are not stored in your wallet. They're not on the blockchain until they get minted into a land. So that's something important to remember. If you need to abandon an account for some reason, you will need to keep that in mind, that you won't have those experiences following from one account to the other. On that note, today we were going to talk about how to back up experiences, but I discovered a problem with that, so I can't show that to you today. So I'm going to work with QA on getting that issue resolved, so that way I can safely show you how to back up experiences. And that's all I can really say about that right now. So today, instead, we are going to work on making a transport system. So CyberDragon, I believe it was yesterday's stream from CyberDragon, had a new teleporter system built. And I'm going to see if I can remember on the fly how he did it. It was pretty simple. It was without presets, because that's the issue that we're encountering right now, is presets are temporarily disabled and they won't be available until after this current game jam is done. But you can still make teleporters without presets. And Aladev says Andy made a really good YouTube video to it. About the backup?
No, I think that's about the teleporting as well.
Oh, about the teleporting.
Um,
Okay.
yeah.
I saw Aladev's previous comment.
And
So,
then I'm going to address Cam later. Cam over on YouTube, just know that you're in my queue, as well as DJ Mix. We will get to those questions soon.
okay. Yeah. Yeah, you can check out CyberDragon's video. You can check out Andy's video. I'm sure if you look on Twitter, I don't know if people can share links to that video here. But definitely check those out. We've got some really great creators here. So what we're going to try to do today is make a transportation system that comes from a question. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to figure it out in one stream, but we're going to try. I have the basic idea in my head, and we're going to see how well we can get it working to make kind of like a quick travel system to go from one corner to another. Thank you, Andy, for sharing that.
All right. So while you get started on that, Cam has a question over on YouTube. They say, how fast do small lands sell out on land drop? And do I have a chance, or should I start looking towards the secondary market for better odds? Playing with my levels a little bit. My answer to that would be that you can purchase lands if you're there within, like, get there early, be logged in, make sure that you're logged in by refreshing the page and see that you are still logged in. And then you've got about, for any one land, if you were like, I'm getting that one, 3 seconds. Real talk. But if you're getting a land, you've got a couple minutes usually. It's kind of like when you're buying tickets to a concert to a band that you know is super hot. Um, you are going to have that high demand kind of thing. If you don't want to have to worry about that, then you can definitely get it in a third party market, but there's usually some markup because those users have purchased them with the intent for resale, or maybe they got a big estate and they don't need all the spaces for it. um, that sort of thing, like they don't realize how much space land really is. You get them on there. um, but reasonably, I have had success when I have tried to buy on land sales. And just like every other user, we don't get special priority for that. So I know what that experience is like to a T. That said, I also give out a bunch of support going into those land sales, along with all of our other community managers. We're constantly in the chat, uh, and making sure that you have an opportunity to, you're on the same level playing field if you've never bought one before. I like that arcade.
I do too. I'm not actually sure who made that. Who made this? This is
Mm.
by Grumish or Grumish.
Grummyish. Yeah, cool. That's very nice.
We've got a few different cool arcade systems. I don't know if Benji's are in here. Yeah,
And then
Racing
DJ
USA.
Mix 133 asks, if my friend and I are going to work on a land together, is there any way to give someone else access to developing the land without giving away your MetaMask information? At this time, not really, but
Uh,
still don't give away your MetaMask information. What I would recommend to do is that you have a user who is your artist, especially in this game jam. We have enabled it so that anybody can submit to be an artist. And you can start to create the assets like these arcade machines that you see on the screen. And then you can set those, export them into the marketplace, request for them to be approved. Once they're approved, then your friend who is making the game, or you who are making the game, can pull those into your game. So that's the best way right now that you can kind of cooperate. You could potentially have like a third person who's working on storyboarding, where you're creating the plot lines for the backdrop, and then you, as the person who's creating in the game maker, don't have to think anymore. You just pull from this document, copy paste. That's what this person says, right? uh, so that can be quite helpful.
Now, to log into the Game Maker, you don't actually need MetaMask information. You just need your
Oh,
Sandbox
that's true. Yeah.
username and password. And you can still log into the website with just the username and password and not be logged into the wallet. So there have been
Yeah.
times that in order to help somebody else, they've given me permission to use their username and password to log into their account, but I am not connected with their wallet. Their sand balance and what they own is not accessible to me. I can't even see their sand balance. I think I see the items that they own in their inventory, but I can't sell them. I can't buy them because those require a signature from the wallet, and the wallet has to be logged in. And if they didn't give me their wallet seed, then I can't do that. So while somebody can still mess up your account if you give them your username and password, they won't be able to do anything that requires your wallet login.
Yeah.
So,
So they
make
don't
sure
get
you're working
real
with people you
access to all
trust.
your bits.
Yeah. And the other thing with that is if you're trying to put together a 4-person team, which is what we recommend for this, you can use whatever team layout works best for you. But what I would recommend is somebody, an artist working on models, a writer working on your story, and they don't have to just write dialogue. They can write what the interactions are. They can do flow charts of like, if you do this, then this will happen, and then at this point you have a split, and you could go this way or you could go this way. It really helps to have that kind of organization. A level designer, the person working specifically in the game maker, they can just copy and paste the text from the writer. and a tester, somebody whose job is to do nothing but try to break your game, and give you feedback and say, hey, this isn't working. This looks kind of weird. Stuff like that. And that would be my ideal fort team. Like I said, do it whatever way works for you. Personally, I like doing everything by myself. That's just the way I roll, but I'm not in the game jam anyway. So have a blast, whatever you do. Just have fun with it.
So let me get to Aladev's question as you're working on that intro to teleportation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is it normal that an ETH transaction can get stuck? So, simple answer is yes. An ETH transaction can easily get stuck in the sense that Ethereum transactions process in a priority based on how much gas you choose to pay relative to the rest of the network. What does that mean? It means if you want to pay 1 GWEI gas rate, right? But then there's a million people that want to pay 2, they will go first. There's a chance that your 1 can go in, but only if the block doesn't fill with people who are willing to pay 2. So the whole block, if right now, and I could check, but right now, if the average is 100 Gwei as the rate for gas, which is 1 to the 8th decimal, so over 1 e negative 8, 1 e negative 8, Ethereum. If they choose to pay 100 on average and you're choosing to pay 10, your transaction will not go. If you're choosing to pay 110, you're in front. As soon as it's possible, you will get into a block. So it's important to understand that when you're making your transaction happen, that you should use a reasonable amount of gas to a point that you are comfortable paying the total sum of the fee. Alex and I have had this problem when we have purchased land as well, where we would like queue up a transaction and then, it's like 10 minutes in and you're trying to get land in a land sale and you've got 45 seconds. So typically what I recommend is that you just kind of, and, again, this is your financial decision, but crank up the gas if you want to be getting your transaction finalized quickly. Now, we do have the booking system, so you have the advantage of having some time for your transaction to process. But if it gets stuck for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, right? Like you're going beyond our booking system. So important to know that. And then there was a question again about presets. So over the last couple of weeks, we have conducted some polls to see where it is on the priority list and then consulted with the development team on what it would take to make that happen. Currently, the presets are scheduled to re-release in a 0.70 update. So you can see it's actually hard to tell with the scroll, but we're currently in 0.6.2 of the game maker. So this isn't far off, but it's not in the immediate future. The reason why this had to be done was because the level of pseudo code injection that would happen when people made a complex preset made increasingly more complex lagging scenarios, where the development team really couldn't figure out why at a certain point why one experience was lagging. And in order to solve all of the people's problem all together all at once, they're rebuilding presets. So it'll end up being a much better experience for you in the end. But as it is now, we have a little bit of wait time. But that said, everyone's on a level playing field, and you still have the entire game jam. We extended the game jam by 1 month so that you have an opportunity to take advantage of the tools that are here as we wait for presets to come.
All right, I'm just trying to remind myself how this is set up because it's so the basic setup. The problem is I'm adding another level of complexity to it. So in Cyber Dragon setup, you would go from one side to the other, and the process is that you interact with an object that spawns an object, which will kill you and itself at the same time and make you respawn at another location. So, in order to get this set up correctly without presets, you need to know what the default spawners, what the default tags are when you spawn on them. So, I'm just kind of like reminding myself. So it's very helpful having Joseph here to interact with the chat while I'm figuring this out.
Well, if that is the case, Alex, while you're working on that,
go right ahead. You can talk all
I
day
got
long.
YouTube over here. Victor Navarro asked, do you need to have a land to make a game? And you do not need to own a land in order to make a game. In fact, that's what the Game Jam is all about. If you're making a game and you get voted in as one of the top 10 best games that gets submitted during this Game Jam, we will give you a land, and that will allow you to publish that game into the metaverse. And if you make a game that's bigger than the 1x1 land that we award to the top 10, um, that's okay. You just have to make another game. You know what I mean? So it is not a requirement, and it is intentional that we, in the long term, we want to have people come in that are playing these games, they're having fun with them, and then they realize, hey, these tools are free. This game maker tool is free. The VoxEdit software is free, and they can start making games. And then while they are playing games, they are earning sand so that they could eventually buy a land and then publish that game that they've been working on. So there's definitely yeah, there's definitely a market for people who don't own a land, and like an onboarding ramp, I guess is the right word I want to use for that. Um, so I'm going to issue a bit of a correction, Kirsch. You can buy more than one asset at the same time, but only if it is the same asset for now. We will be getting a shopping cart sort of system built in. But if you want to buy the same asset up to 10 times, you can. So and it'll all be in one transaction. Macaroni on Twitch, you asked, is there a time limit for pending transactions when buying land? Yes, you can book. The booking would expire after it. In the last land sale, we had it set for 2 hours. And I reconfirm these before the land sales start. That way, I'm giving out the right information. There have been previous land sales where it has been as low as 5 minutes, I think was the lowest timer for that booking. And then we had people say like, well, that wasn't enough time because the Ethereum blockchain was backed up with 300 Gwei gas fees, right? So we changed that, but typically 2 hours is what it is at this time. Tyler Durden, we do absolutely constantly expanding our different kinds of advertising to different types of market. I think you'll note that we have got nearly 100,000 people who follow us on Twitter now. We got our little verified check mark. We got a bunch of people in Discord, Telegram exploded, right? So we are getting the word out every day on this. Let's see. Will there be a way to bundle assets in the marketplace that have different pieces, like the ramen stand Panda is making? Holly, notable, the ramen stand that Panda is making is at least right now, all those different components that are getting put together in VoxEdit are uh, already going to, at the end of the day, be one asset. The reason why she makes them in different pieces is so that they don't have hitboxes, where you'll actually be able to walk into that asset. The same would be true if you built a house and you made sure that you were building every wall and didn't just start it as one piece. Oh, you got two of the whale sharks individually, Kirsch. Oh man. Well, that's all right. I mean, little gas fee for sure, but do you think you could get it? Okay. Over on YouTube. Hello guys, this year I started a game design course, but I left it. Do you think I could get a future here with a lot of effort and learning? I can say that yes, absolutely. And it doesn't require that much effort and learning. It's mostly, poking around with the software, saying, hey, what does this do? What does that do? And, exploring and having fun. And I think that there's a whole class of people that really like to do that, that aren't so much like, they're going to open up a book to learn it, but more so just going to dive in and do it. And that's totally fine. If you're a book learner or you're kind of a video learner, we also have tools for that where you can learn the more interesting mechanics. Are you using that's awesome. You're gonna use the actual arcade machine as the teleporter. I'm loving that. I'm loving that. Because at first I was like, why is he keeping this here? And like it's great. You walk up, you interact with it. So hey, just wanted to ask for the NFTs page that released. When I claim, it just takes me to the store page, but doesn't say I can claim. Do you have any idea how to fix it? What I would suggest is make sure that you are signed in to the wallet, if you're not already, um, by signing back in, or erasing the cache data on your browser, and see if that fixes the issue. If it does not, it's make sure that you're on the same wallet that you did the task for. Like the Wizzy the Golden required that you contributed to the Uniswap pool before, I think, December of 2020 sometime. Uh,
I don't
I
remember.
probably need correction on that. It's been a while.
Yeah.
But the Smurf was if you had purchased anything during the Smurf sale, I think. So you may see assets on there that you weren't actually eligible for, but they are on the claim page to be on the claim, so that anybody who may have opportunity to get it can. Have you guys considered moving from Ethereum to Cardano? We will not be moving off the Ethereum blockchain, as far as I understand. All the plans are to stay here, implement that layer 2 technology, which is literally like so close, right around the corner. And then it's not really a worry for us. You can see on the white paper the intentions of the marketplace, of the land sales, that sort of thing, has always been for layer 2 integration. And then once that, oh, there you go. There you
Well,
go.
it didn't quite work. It's supposed to spawn me over here.
Oh,
work in progress. Yeah, it's supposed to spawn on this, so I just need to tweak some things. But we're getting there.
So yeah, we will stick with Ethereum, and it's it is what it is. Ethereum works great. It'll work better, faster on layer 2, and then when they implement their updates later on throughout this year, better, faster again. So let's see. Can we design Spider-Man? Or would it be copyright infringement? Spider-Man is a copyright protected asset held by Disney. Marvel is owned by Disney. They are one of the largest corporations in the world for individual copyright holdings. So I would recommend you avoid them. Avoid making the Spider-Man. But Man Spider, you know what I mean? Like anything that's a parody that can be obviously this is not that, does always qualify, like gives you exemption from copyright.
Oh.
So you have to be very clearly not just renaming it and using Spider-Man, but like something similar is okay, you know. Let's see. Any updates on preseason 0? Yes, there are a bunch. Let me check my notes on what I can say.
We know too many things, and sometimes it's hard to separate what we're allowed to say and what we aren't allowed to say.
Luckily, I have it on the same screen. So
thank you for whoever said not animated. Yeah, I had made a mistake. Not animated pointed it out. I had set the sent to tags spawner, but I hadn't set the respawn tag to spawner. So while you're looking up what your layer 2, what you're allowed to say about layer 2 and preseason 0, I'm going to explain what we're doing here. So if you're watching really carefully, you might have understood it, but I kind of went back and forth a bunch of times. So what we've got here is we've got our arcade machine, which is our question asker, and it asks where we want to go, and it can give us up to 4 options. So just to get started, I'm going to allow it to send us to the same location we're currently at. That way I can just duplicate it across the map pretty easily. So it's going to ask us if we want to go to stone, metal, tech, or laser, and I've got different, you can name them however you want to name them. Each of those questions is sending a message A1, A2, A3, A4. And what we've got over here is the spawn point spawner, if you will. So what this is doing is it waits for that message A1 to spawn another little numpad switch. Doesn't matter what item it's spawning. And that item is a message broadcaster. So if we look at what a message broadcaster's default is, it defaults to sending the message trigger. Because we can't use presets, we can't set up specific messages, so we have to go with whatever the default is. So as soon as this spawns, it will send out the message trigger. What trigger does is it is our death message. It kills us. So we get the instant death message of trigger with a delay of -2, which means that we don't really see ourselves die too much. We just kind of like poof. And when we die, we send out another message called kill, which is going to remove the spawner that got spawned. Because when we have multiples of these going on, we want to get rid of the spawner. We want there to be only one spawner with the tag spawner for us to spawn on. Otherwise, the computer's going to have to guess which place we're trying to go to. So whenever we spawn this thing, we want it to go away as soon as we respawn at it. So we die, we send out that kill message. This asset spawner, which is spawning the message broadcaster that sends out the trigger, that has the tag spawner, which is where we respawn to, also has a health component. And by default on the health components, kill is the message. If we look here, I have to actually add the health component. 1 second. So by default, kill will get rid of the spawned spawner. It's a little bit to wrap your head around, but and were there any other details here? Nope, that's pretty much it. So when we pick a location, it sends out a message, which makes this spawn an item with our respawn tag on it, and then immediately deletes it. So we spawn to it, and it goes away. And that's pretty much it. So now I just need to duplicate it to the different corners of the map and change the variables on the spawn message, so that way we don't end up spawning to the wrong place. All right, back to you, Joseph.
Cool. All right. Let's see. Another question that comes through: which layer 2 tech will be used? I would love to answer that question. However, that is going to be a big press kind of release for us and for them. So it's important to know that sometimes it's fun to spoil the news, but when it comes to major partnerships and that sort of thing, we want to make sure that the newsworthiness isn't spoiled for them and for us, because both of our brands are fairly significant at this point, being multi-billion-dollar companies. So want to keep it safe, keep it secret. So
I turned up your volume a little bit.
Oh, no worries. Aladif, when Ethereum 2.0 comes out with proof of stake, does it not make the whole layer 2 useless? In fact, it does not make layer 2 useless. The purpose of layer 2 is to reduce congestion and make the process go quickly. So many layer 2 solutions are effectively proof of stake solutions. But what happens, right? Everything that's happening over here is still going to be consistent regardless of the popularity of Ethereum. So even if ETH 2.0 comes out and, 1,000 times more transactions per second have been enabled, that won't be it doesn't matter how popular ETH gets or how many other side chains exist on the ETH network. As long as we continue to have our layer 2 solution, it'll always be consistent, fast, meeting expectations all the time.
All right, so that works. Now we got to duplicate both of them to the other side. So there's a question from Strazino trying to move with the W in the Y direction instead of forward. So I think what you're saying is instead of having kind of a third person view like this, that I'm really not sure what the question is saying.
I think I know what this.
Okay, maybe you can answer because I'm having a hard time
seems,
understanding.
and confirm if I'm wrong about this, but that you want to use or edit the control scheme in such a way that when you push W to move, instead of moving forward, you move vertically. Is that right?
If that's the case, we don't have a way of doing that right now.
Yep. No worries. I'm trying to think of if there was like a way you can do it without doing it in the conventional way. Know that we do intend to allow users to customize their controls in the future, but as it stands right now, the highest priority is going to be things like re-enabling the preset without the kind of wonkiness that was happening before that would make your games a bit laggier. So we're going to stay focused on that sort of thing. Another question that came through earlier that I was going to answer with direct message, but I did not. It says, how long does it take to get approved as an artist? So I'm going over those artist applications regularly. Typically, it's going to be after the streams. This morning, right before this stream, I approved, I think, like another 16 artists into the program. So if you were waiting and you're looking for that, that should be done right now. But if you are applying for the first time, I'll re-review it. Should be after this stream, if not just a little bit after that. There will be more staking rewards if you are currently staking, Noam.
I love it.
Add a side camera option. That's interesting.
So that does exist, sort of. It may not be exactly the way that you want, but if you go to your global parameters up at the top here, to do a side camera, go to your camera controls, and we have angled. So you can say camera pitch of, I think 90 degrees would do it. And then play. Oh, no, that's up. So it'd probably be 0 degrees. I wasn't sure. It defaults to 45, and I wasn't sure which direction was which. And play. And there. So you can have it rotatable if you wanted, or you can lock it. So you go back to your camera controls and camera locked, and you can zoom in too if you want. You could say 10 meters, and then I'm moving my mouse. I don't know if you can hear that. I'm moving my mouse, but nothing is changing on the camera, and it is just like this. So you could, in fact, do kind of a side scroller. If you wanted to do something like Crash Bandicoot, you would be able to do it this way. You could do it, both forwards and backwards, and side to side, with no camera movement. You can also, I think Yaw would let us put it at an angle. Yeah. So if you wanted to go diagonally, so still no camera movement from the mouse, but now we're at a 45-degree angle. So that's what that pitch and yaw controls do. And that's basically the same thing for isometric view. If you wanted to do 45 and 45, then it's more of an isometric view. You'd probably want to zoom out more for an isometric view because this is very shallow. And I think isometric view is actually technically a little bit. I think there's a very specific definition for isometric, and I don't remember what it is for the camera pitch. Maybe it's like 35, I want to say, and then we'll zoom out to 20. And that's more of a traditional isometric view. Now we don't have a way to change to an orthogonal camera, which is part of a proper isometric view where there's no perspective distance. I'm not sure if that's going to be an option or not. It is certainly possible. You can change the view angle of a camera in Unity to be an orthogonal view, but I'm not sure if that's in the works or not.
All right, and I'm gonna address a question here real quick. Robot Hack over on Twitch, you asked, is there a scripting language for the game maker for all the coders out there? Not yet, but also there will be. If you look over on our white paper, you'll see that we do intend to, once we reach a point of satisfaction with this client where people can make games without needing to know how to code, we will start implementing visual scripting and then take it to the next level after that. It should be probably some time before we get to a point where we're going to have full, training wheels off coding enabled, but that's just for the, security of individual users. We want to make sure that there wouldn't be any malicious script injections and things like that. It's still, at the end of the day, a game platform that we want, you to be able to publish your games on without having to worry about all that sort of stuff. So definitely coming though. Question regarding land instance. For a single land, can only one instance of it exist at a time, or can multiple instances exist concurrently? In fact, multiple instances is the intention. So as it stands right now, each one of these game experiences that you create is a single player game. However, if you get into the social hubs, they will fill up and then queue a new instance and fill up. So we are going to, as we open up the metaverse and see it fill up with a bunch of people, be able to better track how well our multiplayer code is working and how we can optimize it over time. We do some internal tests. I know Alex is in more of these than I am, but the last one that I was in, we had like 45 or 50 of us in one social space at once, and it worked fine.
Something like that. There was a bunch of us. It was a lot of
the
fun.
The only time that somebody was lagging was when that person was lagging, and you could see them lag, but they didn't, the experience didn't hamper anything for Alex and I, or, for example.
Yeah, it was on their client, and their internet connection wasn't good, and so it lagged. Everything lagged for them, and they lagged for us. But just and I were fine to each other.
Yeah, like Alex and I were just a smooth 60 plus FPS, running around, jumping around, doing our thing, falling off cliffs.
I am one of those 60 FPS plebeians, so I'm locked at 60 FPS most of the time. But I am on a full 4K screen, so
yeah. I mean,
it's the trade-off
to go over 60 FPS in 4K. You need to have a 3090 GPU. I think a 3080 can do it, but nonetheless, that's just like why. You know what I mean? Like I'm 4K.
I tried Far Cry 5 on full 4K max settings, and I was getting like 30 FPS. I was like, oh. But I could do, if I reduce the settings, I could still get 4K at like medium settings. So it was like, do I do 4K or do I reduce my screen resolution? I don't like reducing the screen resolution. You get pampered to it. Once you get used to all those beautiful tiny crisp pixels, it's hard to go back.
Dave, are you serious right now? I'm sorry, but as a nerd, I'm jealous.
How did you so how can I get one of those from you? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, right? Like
no, that's on my list,
do
my
I
upgrade
need to perform?
list.
What art do I need to create to get this 3090? Look at this I really have two. It's no joke. Aladev has two RTX 3090 graphics cards.
Did you pay retail prices or scalper prices? That's the real question.
That's insane. Of course, they sold a few on eBay. Man, you guys, so good, so good at that game.
Now, to be fair, I haven't really been shopping. I upgraded my computer about a week before the 30 series launched, and I was I knew that the launch was imminent, and I decided, for the stuff that I'm doing for the Sandbox, I don't really need the 3090, so I went with the 2070 Super, and it's working fine for me. I'm happy with what I have. I just, it would be nice to have that extra horsepower, but I really needed the upgrade for work because it was painful trying to do the streams, trying to do renders and stuff on a 1050 Ti and a really old CPU. It was just really, really hard.
Yeah, it's crazy too. Like, since we've been in COVID and all this for over a year, like, chip manufacturing is so low that regardless, if you have something that starts with 10, you can get hundreds of dollars for that card, right? It's insane.
Yeah. Well, for non-ray traced gaming, 1080 is still decent. The newer features that have been getting added to the cards is more about ray tracing and AI than about anything else. So the actual horsepower of like a 1080, I think there's a 1080 Ti, right? That still holds up decently to like a 3080 if you're not going to go with the extra over the top everything. So
how does the funding work? I have an idea I've been sitting on the last few weeks, and I'm getting rolling on making a mock-up. I have the land, but it would save me a lot of time to buy some assets and get help with the direction. So Monkey Junkie, for the most part, they use games that are in the gamefund.sandbox.game program, right? Those games they are open-ended to your design, but they are given support by our team indirectly. Alex, you know this better than I. You handle
for the
this
Game Maker
almost
Fund,
every day. Yeah, for the Game Maker Fund,
there's a lot of direct support. So I mean, we have artists from our Creator Fund team who have become like artist leaders. So either they're leading groups of artists, or they're just some of our top creators that most technically skilled and understand the requirements to work in the Game Maker. They do I think monthly reviews with the Game Maker Fund people to make sure that their assets are going to perform the way they expect. So there's a constant review process there. There's hands-on support from our in-house level designers. Occasionally I help out when I have time. We've got other QA and tech support that are helping. There's a project manager who's in charge of keeping all that organized. So, I mean, there's a lot of support for the Game Maker Fund people. Now, the getting into the Game Maker Fund is a slower process than like the Creator Fund or joining Joseph with the Game Jam. So, you might not hear back for a little while because we do have a bunch of Game Maker Fund stuff in the queue. So yeah, it's harder to get in. It's a more complicated application process, but you do get a lot of hands-on support from the team to make sure that your thing comes out nicely. What?
Alex, who did this to my hair today? You know what I mean?
Well, I don't even know what happened. Did you brush it forwards or?
No, just nothing at all. Like, I had a shower, I'm chilling at the PC, I'm doing my thing, and later the day goes by, you know what I mean? I get in a call with you, I answer the call, and then I was like, look at my head. Like, it's all falling in my face. Like, I just want to do this, and like, this is how I'm gonna finish the stream today, folks. This is what
sad boy Joseph.
Just real emotional. Like, the haircut was bad, folks. If if you guys have been in the chat for a while, I really don't like this haircut. And then today, I'm just having one of those days, just one of those days where like nothing can fix this, nothing can help me. Save me, Alex. Yeah.
I mean, I can
Preseason zero, Jeremy.
do
I
that.
did not get a
There you go.
chance to answer that because the date on that, uh, hmm, the date on that exists, uh, and there's already a Medium article that is written for that to be published. It is pending. It's that close of an announcement, but with the little things that we have had to change, like the urgency of presets, it pushes back things like the preseason because we didn't realize, frankly, that when those presets were taken down to help optimize them and rebuild that preset system, that so many people would be put out by that, um, or reliant on that system. So we had to take the time to step back, pivot, rework the game jam release dates, and do things like that to make sure that we are listening to you, the creators, the people who are in this community, and not just doing things. Did you just take me off the screen, Alex? I only
Hey,
just noticed.
you said
Ah, I
save
like
me,
it.
and I'm like, oh,
Same
just
thing.
hide.
All your hair is gone. There you go, Kosh. Yeah, not deleted, saved. Cosmogrog. Everybody's like, hair looks great. Look at that. Look at the Alex. You so silly. You so silly, Alex. Can't believe. Nah, but yeah, that's the hopefully, yeah, they could still hear me when I was saying that.
Oh, no, they should be able to. Yeah, no, they should because you're coming in from a desktop audio, not from
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
screen
yeah,
capture.
yeah. Okay, okay. So yeah, hopefully that. I know it's a kind of a non-answer there, but preseason zero is that like we want to have it out, but also we can't go on pushing that out and ignoring the requests that you guys give to us directly. So we want to make sure that we answer the call when you say, hey, this is wrong and you need to fix it. We are doing that. So we could hear all your expletives. I can't believe. What was that noise in the
That was a
background?
motorcycle, but I have
It was like
RTX voice on, so
oh, very nice.
it might have
Yeah,
made
it
it
was
sound
like,
kind of weird.
ooh.
Yeah, it was one of those little
Yeah, 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 yeah,
those
yeah, yeah,
Asian,
yeah,
what do
yeah.
they call them, crotch rockets? So
I mean, I was trying to avoid all of those terms. You know what I mean? Just like a Kawasaki or something.
sure,
That's what I'm going.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
motorcycle brands. Not my thing.
sorry.
It was, when I was 5 years old. It's just weird. Too much information about Alex. When
There
I
we
was
go.
like 5 years old, there was a girl that I had the hugest crush on because
Yep.
I was always a bleeding heart from the youngest age, and we were gonna get married and we were gonna have 20 kids, 10 boys, 10 girls. All the boys would get motorcycles, all the girls would get
Wow.
vans, and that was like my ideal 5-year-old world. And now I would much rather drive a minivan than a motorcycle because I'm just that's just the way I am now.
There it is. I'm still blown away by the 20 children and how you would manage that. And
5-year-old me did not calculate the logistics of that.
we're
That's
not
what.
even, yeah, I mean, not even talking about like the time frame, you know what I mean? Like it's 9 months. That's one. Uh, Try again. So no, okay,
So
John Frascos over on
it's a
YouTube,
good
you
question.
ask, can you tell us more about voxel faces and asset optimization?
So we are working on updating that right now. If you click on, I think it's help at the top of VoxEdit, or more information or something like that. I think it says help. There's a document that gives a lot of guidelines for stuff in VoxEdit. Some of those guidelines are pretty old and they're in the process of being updated. The current standard is 5,000 faces is the goal we try to stay under. It is not a hard limit. I think you can go up to something ridiculous like 20 or 30,000 faces before VoxEdit throws an error screen and says, no, you can't do that. But in the Creator Fund, we try to keep it under 5,000 faces because that helps ensure maximum compatibility with mobile devices, as we do plan on expanding to more types of play vectors. So size Size does not matter. We did have a limit of 16 by 16 by 16 meters. And in a conversation with the guy who does the graphics coding for the game maker, he said that the actual size and distance does not matter so much as the face count, because if you make a flat object that is say 30 meters long, it could still have only a couple of faces, compared to an object that's 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter and has 1,000 faces. It's going to make a much bigger impact on processing. Now, the thing you need to watch out for is if you are making these giant objects, we are still in the process of figuring out how the game maker is going to handle things like LOD, which is level of detail, and distance culling. So if you move far enough away from an object, I don't know if I can do it here as I zoom out, eventually things should start to disappear. Maybe not in the editor, but in the when you're playing a game, if you play like a 4x4 and you go really far away from something, eventually it'll disappear. So if you're making a really huge object that you want to see in the distance, like the mountains in Skyrim, you want to see those across the map, and you get far enough away, eventually those mountains might just poof, which is not the best experience. So we are still in the process of working out how exactly from VoxEdit to the game maker we determine level of detail simplifications for better processing on far distances, as well as making objects disappear in the distance. So hopefully in the next month we will have that document updated with better stuff, better information.
I got two
Go for
that
it.
are in the chat here. Smobler, you are listed as an artist on the website. So let me know if you have any questions about that process or what's going on. I think I sent you an email about that, but I may not have. I'm going to have to look at my list of artists again. But I'll go ahead and send you an email just talking about like how to get those things submitted. Right now, you probably like if you open VoxEdit and you hit send to marketplace, you should notice that there is something that has changed. Let's see, and then let's see. How much did each individual plot of land sell for during the last sale? So, during the last sale being yesterday, where we sold the last of last week's lands, what we did was we took the NFTs off that were not the land NFT, and then sold those individual lands for 1,011 sand, each one by one. That is the going rate, unless you were to purchase a 3x3 of land, where you get a 5% discount on the individual lands, buying them all together in bulk. 5? I'd double check. If it's 5 or 10%, but I'm pretty sure it's 5. How do you rotate the camera? I'm exploring a blank one by one. You can zoom in, zoom out, go up, down, left, right. Just right click, right click, drag.
I'm sorry, I was a little bit focused and I did not pay attention to the question.
That's
So
all right.
how do you rotate the camera in the game maker?
Rotate the camera. Yes.
It is Alt and then click and drag the mouse. So I'm holding Alt and moving the mouse. You can, so that's to do it around the center is Alt and left click. And to do it to turn the camera like you're turning your head is Alt and right click. And then middle mouse will move you side to side, up and down. You can also use your arrow keys to move around like a first-person shooter, but although it is forwards and back, it's not from the direction your camera's facing. So if you're facing up, then you're gonna. Well, you can't tell because of the sky, but I think you get what I'm saying. You can also, if you click the options button here, the gear in the top right corner, right above the Sandbox logo there, view control list here. Gives you all the controls for both the builder and for gameplay. So there's some extra shortcut keys in here. Um, and yep, you can also do your sound settings and I like borderless window. That's easiest for me, but you can do different options there and your resolution setting. I'm trying to figure out why this is not sending me back.
Ross Guru. Well, actually, I'm going to go to the YouTube comment first, just because it came up first. What will players that don't own a plot of land be able to do in the game? You'll be able to play them. You know, all those games that are free to play, which are at this time everything that the Sandbox has developed. You'll just be able to get in, have fun, play the games. You know, while you are playing the games that are the Sandbox sponsored and or developed games, those games you will be earning sand as part of seasonal reward. So you can then use that sand to go play games that a developer may have published and said, hey, they want to charge maybe like an arcade, or they want to associate it with a ticketing system where it's a one-time buy and you can play it as much as you like. So as you're earning the sand, you have an opportunity to play those premium games that are going to be in the metaverse as well. All right, Alex. Here's the thing. The time is now 12:06, my local time, and I have yet to recreate the form. I'm a silly person. I have not recreated the form.
Oh no.
Here we go. We are accepting responses. We are clicking the send. We are doing this. We are shortening this URL so it's not so long.
Well, thank you, Official Moody. We are part of the dev team, so I am one of the artist managers. I help. I make a lot of art, and I also manage. We've got, I think, like 120 artists now, or something like that. I'm more of like the general manager. I don't directly interact with the artists so much as I used to, because we just expanded so much, and I couldn't do it all by myself. So we've got a layer of people between me and all the individual artists now. And as far as what we're in right now, I built this today on stream. If you go back to the beginning of the video, this started as just a green plot of land, and we were shown how to make teleporters, which are mostly working. And I mean, it's a simple fix. It didn't work the way that I wanted it to. And there's a whole bunch of other people. I think the actual staff of the Sandbox is about 100 people. I don't know the exact count. We've got Unity developers. We've got people working on the website and dashboard. We've got blockchain developers. We've got all sorts of people. Joseph works with a lot with our marketing and kind of public relations. There's a word I'm looking for here.
PR is correct. Yeah. All of the all the news outlets basically that are out there that are saying, hey, what's the Sandbox all about? And they do
community
interviews.
management. That was the word I was looking for.
Community management is also accurate when it comes to like your questions that you guys are asking. That's my primary job, is to you tag, I'm there answering, or you're on Telegram and you've asked this question at 4 a.m, my local time. I will be there. Not always, because it is 4 a.m, my local time, but there are many occasions where I'm like 1 a.m. I got my phone and I'm like, what? Okay, here you go. And then I send that out. And I, go back to having a nice sleep. But all the ambassadors, when they have direct questions that they can't necessarily answer, I always encourage them to tag me over on Discord, and then they can get back to your questions. So that's pretty much like everything we're doing here is what I do, 9 to 5. So except for the streaming part. It's funny because, in fact, sometimes I'll be like hanging out and I'll stream on my own personal stream, and I'll do something simple, right? Like a game I don't have to actually pay attention to in order to play it. That way I can be like doing this because I've got this screen and that screen and that screen and that screen. And they're all doing something, so we are a busy one. All right. I'm at 132 responses right now, but only 113 people listed. So I'm going to shut it down. Got up to 134 right there. 135. They're still ticking in. I just closed the accepting responses. And I only in the interest of making sure that people who are watching are the people who are submitting. I don't want to see like duplicate submissions or things like that. We want to keep it fair for everyone. So with 135 responses, I'm going to type RNG. I'm going to go
Hey, Mike.
100.
I've got
Yes.
Sorry. Mike's
My name
got
is
a question. He got stuck in his game. So you can hit tab to exit your game. While you're playing, you can also hit the O key to get options, and you click on settings, and there's a control list there, which will tell you what you've got. It actually doesn't tell you that you can use tab to exit, so that's not very helpful. But you can. If you just click tab, it'll pop you back to the to the editor. You can toggle back and forth between them. And if you're playing somebody else's game, it's not tab, it's escape. And that will bring you to the exit menu. All right. Sorry about that, Joseph. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Hate my hair today. Hate it. Hate it, Alex. User over on twitch.tv, 1 star plays. You are our Wizzy the Blue NFT winner today. So if you are watching and you missed that form, I apologize. I did not give you a verbal cue, but we have a lot of questions coming in. And so I don't want to interrupt those questions. Also, I was running on my own rant about nothing, apparently. So there will be more, though. If you are interested in winning that Wizzy the Blue NFT and you did not win today, then keep in mind that you can join us each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday on this stream, and you can win. Also, occasionally, I will jump into any old stream that exists, and give away a Wizzy the Blue NFT as a nice surprise. So if you are streaming, make sure to increase your odds of me being able to jump in by tagging me and saying, "Hey, I'm live. We are making games. We are making voxel assets. We are doing something." Get that content up and out, and I could drop in and give away something for you. That's so funny. My hands made a little squeaky noise.
We're
stupid.
adults. We're grown-ups.
Yeah. Listen, we can be serious all day, or we can have some fun in this game making platform, which is what we're here to do. So, Alex,
I've got some questions to catch up on here.
Let's catch up on questions.
Okay. So Kyle Walker from YouTube asked, will players be able to build up, or will they, so not players but creators, will they be able to build up their own plot in single player world though, or maybe just build up a plot of land that's not resellable and not accessible to other players? So that's basically what you have in the game maker. We are not on a land right now. This is not on the metaverse. This is not published. You can make a single player experience here, and you can publish it to the gallery. So you click this little paper airplane in the top here, right where the logo just zoomed out. You set the name, a description, and let's go ahead and click save on this. And once you export those to the gallery, it's taking a little bit to save. Okay, there we go. In the gallery, you can see all the games that people have put forward before. So there's a lot of people doing their tests, people publishing their game jam stuff. There's a whole bunch of old ones from previous game jams. Some may or may not work with the preset issue right now, but yeah, these are all single player experiences that anybody can play, and they can't be bought or sold. It's totally free to do this. So if all you want to do is just make some fun stuff for people to play, you can publish it to the gallery, and you are not required to buy or sell anything. I'm going to turn off that music because it makes it hard for me to concentrate while I'm talking. There was kind of a follow-up to that.
Real quick, Mike, Twitter is best. Discord is great. So either one of those.
So Kyle Walker's second part of that question was, my concern is that a lot of players might be interested in building their own plots as well. So I figured they'd maybe be an option for building a plot, but it would be worth 0. So yeah, I mean, you can build those. Once I figure out, today's stream was supposed to be about backing up your games, and in that process, you would kind of be able to share them with other people. So that I'm working on that. We'll figure out how that's going to work in the future. Sandbox does have a media kit, Smobbler Studios. I don't know the link off the top of my head. It
You
might
can go
it
to
might just
press.
be
At the bottom of the website at sandbox.game, there is a press section, and you can see that media kit is in
yep,
there.
right
And it
there.
is updated. If it is not already updated, it will be being updated soon.
Yep, we've got so you can download the full press kit, which is everything. We've got some videos, some images, logos, the colors that we use for our branding. So if you, this is especially helpful for people in our Game Maker Fund. We ask them to make websites to help promote their games. So they're making their own independent websites. When you go to the homepage and you see like Shiny Chairs and Viking Fjord and Dethroned, they're all making their own websites. These don't link to them directly, but eventually when those games release, we'll be linking to their websites that they've made. Let's see. Any other last minute questions? Because we're running a few minutes over.
Cam asked, where can we find land sale announcements? It's important that if you want to know anything about the Sandbox, you follow us on our Medium page, medium.com/sandbox-game, or over on twitter.com/the Sandbox game. If you follow us there, you should have been able to see what yesterday's sale was not a new sale, but really just a repackaging of what we sold a week ago that hadn't yet sold because of the NFTs that were associated. They just probably, they weren't as hot or something. We wanted to make sure that you guys did get the lands that you were looking for. And then those lands, when they were relisted without the other assets, sold out in less than 60 seconds. So you'll definitely have an opportunity to pick up more lands in the future. Sales will be ongoing until it was estimated by Seb middle of 2022. So you'll have some opportunities to get lands coming up.
Question from Victor Navarro, YouTube. I have a lot of questions like how do we make a game interact with the player, quest rewards, experience, level up, save state, is there documentation? So some of the things you mentioned in that we don't have features for yet. There are ways to interact with the player. You can see in what we did today, we had a question on each of the arcades about where you would like to be teleported to. So you can set up more complicated interactions with that to make whole conversations. Quest rewards, we do have a whole, it's called rules. If you, it doesn't matter which one I open. If you click on the rules button, there is a spot where you can set up all the objectives for your game, including what players could get by making drops for them. So you would have a message sent at the end at the completion of a quest, and then you could have something spawn a reward for the player. We don't have an experience system built in yet. Leveling is done by equipment collection, so you can get powerful weapons, armor, things like that, which will upgrade your character to be stronger through the game. We do not have saving at the time, but using similar systems to what we did today with the teleporters, you can create checkpoints, so the player will respawn if they die at a certain point. So a lot of the features that you're asking about will continue to get developed and improved upon as things go on, because we are still in a beta stage. Or I think Game Maker's technically alpha. VoxEdit's beta, so sometimes I mix up which one I'm talking about. However, do we have a public link for the Git book?
I do. I was trying to pull it up, but I've got a million tabs open. But
I'm not
one.
not sure if this
right
one. I have
now.
a link. I'm not sure if it's a public link. Let's see.
Let's see if it works.
Hey, this does work. Okay, I got it. So I'm pasting a link in the chat to our Git book, which is a a living document. It is constantly being updated and upgraded, specifically by CyberDragon, who is one of our very advanced game maker creators. And he keeps on figuring out new ways to do stuff, like the tutorial for teleporting that we used today to make this stuff. He's constantly updating the Gitbook with that kind of content. So check that out for all sorts of good info on how to develop things. Let's see. Any other? Is the game actually coming out in May? Well,
It may,
it may.
but you'll have to find out next time.
Yeah.
when
We'll
we
talk
come
about
back.
that later.
All
So
right.
Thank you everybody for watching.
Appreciate you guys.
We got through the whole tutorial and had some time left over
Yeah.
to. I mean, we went
That was
over,
good.
but I hope you all have a great Saturday and great rest of your weekend. And yeah, we'll see you
gonna-
next time.
Have some fun. Have a good day.